Now, in Brazzaville, Congo's capital, how some students ended up in a state of convulsion or unconsciousness after a session on anti-values and incivility with the Minister of Youth is a top concern. The students, 44 in total, were taken to the hospital after the session with the minister, and doctors have since diagnosed the transient general crisis of what they call hysteria, whose true cause or origin they do not know. I'll leave Barbara to help us find out what exactly happened. Barbara.
Lord Marshal Bon is our correspondent in Brazzaville, and he
Bonjour Barbara et bienvenue à Brazzaville.
Merci. Thank you very much. So, what really happened in this institution?
Bon, il faut parler d'un phénomène surréaliste.
Well, the incident, as you mentioned, occurred yesterday before noon. Students from CEG and the Nganga Edward Institution gathered to hear a speech from the Minister of Youth. This establishment was the third stage of a caravan led by this minister, a caravan about fighting against anti-values and incivility in the school environment. So it was while she was still there that two young students fell, according to the testimony of the school principal. Colleagues and teachers who came to their aid believed it was an emotional or an asthma attack. But after the minister's departure, many other students, mainly young girls, went into a trance. Many others were convulsing or simply lost consciousness. The situation has taken on a new dimension, causing a general panic. The emergency services of the fire brigade were mobilized. The students, 44 in total, were taken to the university hospital, where doctors reported a temporary general attack of hysteria, or which they do not know the true cause or origin. And you went yesterday to the hospital where these students were admitted. What did you find, and were you given an explanation for their discomfort? Well, yes, of course. At the university hospital, we found that these students who were still in uniform were placed for observation at the obstetric gynecology rooms and others in the infectious disease departments. I fainted when I was already out of the institution. I came to my senses when I arrived at the university hospital and asked that my mother be called, and she arrived quickly. Well, this is according to a 17-year-old high school student on a drip. Access to the hospital was not given easy for both reporters and visitors. Law enforcement officers blocked the entrances for a long time before letting go when they found that most of the students were returning home after treatment. So many parents were on the scene. And without a scientific explanation, it's assumed that this case has given rise to the most surprising rumors. Indeed, it has. Social media networks have found something to talk about. They even mentioned dead people. As for some students themselves, they thought that their school had been haunted, wishing that before resuming classes on Thursday, priests would come to conduct prayers and deliverance. In any case, we heard so many things from the students and their parents that are not always good to be repeated on TV, like on the Africanews station. Last question, Lord. Was there an official reaction? Was an investigation launched to determine the causes of this incident?
Well, Mr.
Adolphe Mboumaba, Cabinet Director of the Ministry of Primary, Secondary Education and Literacy, was the guest of the 8 p.m. news program on unofficial television. He also reported on general crisis of hysteria due to fatigue, among other things, as he believed that the students had been in the sun for a long time before the minister who visited them arrived. In a statement, the Ministry of Education promised to shed light on this situation and establish the responsibilities. So this means that in the coming days, public opinion will be built on the real reasons for such an incident to happen, which yesterday caused the whole city of Brazzaville to be upset. So yesterday's scene reminded us of another one that unfortunately caused the death of men at the time, that of St. Peter's Claver's Cathedral in Congo in 1993.
Une scène qui s'est produite en 1993. Les Congolais s'en souviennent encore.